Okay, welcome back. This time I want to talk about real and integer valued polynomials. So what do we mean by this? So let us begin by considering sort of the most general constants. So for us a polynomial is let us say a0. So recall a polynomial for us was an expression of the form a0 plus a1x a2x squared and so on. X power d. Now the most general thing we could do for now is to allow the ai's, the coefficients, to be complex numbers. Okay. So let us assume, say, let ai belong to C, which is the set of complex numbers. So this is the set. Okay. So we will just call these complex polynomials where all coefficients are complex. So what is a typical example? You could take so let us see, I have 1 plus I times x plus let us say 2 plus I times x squared, where I of course is the complex unit, the square root of minus 1. So here is a polynomial whose coefficients are 1, I and 2 plus I, which are all complex numbers. Now what we want, so when I said real and integer valued polynomials, let me take the first case. I want to look at real valued polynomials. So here is the problem. Given given a polynomial as above, p of x with complex coefficients such that with an additional condition that p of x is real whenever x is real. Okay. So I want to look at this a polynomial which has a property that whenever I plug in a real number x, then the answer p of x is also a real number. Okay. So this is what I want to call real valued polynomials. They take real values on real numbers. Then what can I say about the coefficients? So the question is this: given this polynomial, what can one conclude about the coefficients ai? Okay. So let us just sort of look at the expression here. P of x looks like this. Now one of the most obvious ways of constructing such a polynomial, how would we get an example of such a polynomial? Observe, if all ai's are real numbers, so R is the set of real numbers, if all the coefficients are already real numbers, then P certainly satisfies this property, then P of x satisfies this property, right. So if I do not have any of my i's appearing anywhere, right, if it is just 1 plus x plus 2x squared for instance, then if I plugged in x to be a real number, of course I would get a real answer, right. So here is one way of constructing such polynomials. You can take all the coefficients to be real numbers, but is this necessary? Is this the only way of obtaining a real valued polynomial? Okay. So we will see in just a moment. The answer is yes, that you really do need to have all coefficients to be real, only then can this property be true. Okay. So here is the claim: if that in fact the converse is true, that if p of x has this property, then the coefficients have to be real numbers, there is no other way out. Okay, so let us try and prove this. The proof itself is rather easy. So what does it mean to say that p of x is a real number whenever x is a real number? So it says that p of x bar, so let x be a real number, then we are given that p of x is real number. So this implies that p of x is real. So let me write it like this. Now a real number, so now we need to recall a little bit about complex numbers. Remember we have a notion of conjugation, complex conjugation in the set of complex numbers. It maps I in some sense to minus I, right. So the conjugate of 1 plus I would be 1 minus I. So here is the property, if p of x is a real number, then that implies that p of x is the same as its conjugate. Okay. So in other words, so let us compute the conjugate. So if I take a0 plus a1x ad x power d, that is p of x, so that is the left hand side. The right hand side is the conjugate of this expression, so I need to think of this as being a conjugate, but again the well known properties of conjugation say that if I have a sum of complex numbers and I want to take their conjugate, it is the conjugate of each individual term. So this is just nothing but the conjugate of a0. So remember a0, a1, a2 are potentially complex numbers for now, so it is the conjugate of a0 plus the conjugate of a1 times the conjugate of x plus the conjugate of a2 times the conjugate of x squared and so on, conjugate of ad conjugate of x times power d. So that is what you get when you take conjugate on the right hand side, but observe I have said that x is a real number, which means that x is its own conjugate, right. So real numbers are their own conjugate, so in fact x bar is the same as x because of the assumption that x is real. So I can just remove the bars on the x's. Okay, so here is the conclusion that a0 plus a1x plus adxd is the same as a0 bar plus a1 bar x plus blah 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 for all real numbers x, for all real x. Okay, but now observe that the left hand side you can think of as, you know, here is a polynomial of degree d, a0 plus a1x plus adxd. The right hand side is another polynomial of degree d, which is a0 bar plus a1 bar x plus a2 bar x squared and so on, right. So think of, so let us call that another polynomial, so maybe we will just call it pq of x, maybe let us call here is another polynomial of degree at most d, and what we are claiming is that p of x, the polynomial p and the polynomial q agree, they are equal for all real numbers x, for all real x. Okay. Now observe this principle that we talked about a few modules ago, which is if I have a polynomial of degree d, another polynomial of degree d, and if they agree on d plus 1 points, okay, they have the same value on some d plus 1 points, then they must have the same value on all points, meaning they are actually exactly the same polynomial. Okay. But then observe, for every real number x I know that they actually agree, right, and there are infinitely many real numbers. So agreeing on infinitely many points will mean they surely agree on d plus 1 points. So therefore p and q, so the polynomials p and q agree on, in fact on infinitely many points on all real numbers, and since they have degree at most d, this means that p and q are exactly the same polynomial. So p equals q. So let me just write it. Okay. So what does that mean? The polynomial a0, so p is the polynomial a0 plus a1x plus adxd is the same as a0 bar plus So these two are exactly the same polynomials. Now what does it mean to say they are the same polynomials? It means that the coefficients are all the same. A0 is the same as A0 bar, A1 is the same as A1 bar x and so on. So these are identically equal polynomials. Okay, so maybe so it's sort of a little bit like this equality, but this equality is thought of as only holding for all real values x. This equality actually holds for all complex values x if you wish, since they are identically the same polynomial. So this means that A0 is the same as A0 bar, A1 is the same as A1 bar and so on. Every coefficient is equal, but then this means that A0 is a real number, the next condition means A1 is a real number, the next condition means A2 is a real number and so on. So this in fact implies that all AI's are real. Okay, so that is in fact the proof of the converse. The only way you can get a complex polynomial to take real values on real numbers is if all the coefficients are themselves real numbers. Now here is an interesting variant of this problem, which is sort of the second part of the title. What if you wanted integer values? Okay, so let p of x be like this with AI's. So let us for now consider real valued polynomials, for instance. I mean yeah, exactly, coefficients being reals with AI's in R. Now I want these to have integer values on integers. Suppose I tell you the following, that p of x, so let me call it p of n, is an integer. So z denotes the set of integers. P of n is an integer whenever n is an integer, for so when so here is a condition that is given, that p takes integer values when you plug in an integer for x. Okay, then the question is, what can you conclude about the coefficients? So again the same question. So problem, what can one say about the AI, the coefficients? Okay, and observe a similar thing can serve as a starting point if all the AI's are integers. So if for instance your polynomial is just 1 plus 2x plus 3x squared and so on, or any other integer choices for the AI's, then plugging in x equals an integer will of course give you an integer answer. So observe similarly, just like before, that, so I am just going to modify right here, if AI's are integers, if AI is an integer for every I, so I should say for all I, then p of x certainly satisfies this property. Okay. Now what we really want to worry about is sort of the converse. Is it true that that is the only possibility? Is it possible that a polynomial takes integer values on integers, but the polynomial does not necessarily have integer coefficients? Okay. So it turns out that the converse is actually not true in this case. So here is an example which will sort of demonstrate this fact. Let us define p of x to be the polynomial x into x minus 1 by 2. So here is a polynomial whose degree is 2, it is x squared minus x divided by 2, right. So let us write it out fully, it is x squared divided by 2 minus x divided by 2. So it is a degree 2 polynomial. It does not have integer coefficients because the coefficients are in fact half and minus half, right. So the coefficients are clearly not integers. Okay. Not all coefficients are in integers, what you need in general. Here in fact both coefficients are not integers. So now the question is, what do we know about integer values for x? So let us compute p of n when n is an integer. So let n be an integer and let us calculate p of n. P of n turns out to be n, well it is n into n minus 1 by 2 by definition, right. Now n is an integer, n minus 1 is the one preceding integer, right. So, this is the product of two successive integers and then you are dividing the answer by 2. Okay. Now, observe that if I have two successive integers, so n and n minus 1 are two consecutive integers, now when I have two consecutive integers, one of them will be odd and the other will be even, right. So, which implies one of them is odd, the other is even. So, I really only care about the even part. So, one of them is an even number, which means that it could be either of them, it could be n or n minus 1, but whichever of them it is, when I divide it by 2, what I will get will be a whole number, will be an integer again, right. So, therefore, it is divisible by 2. So, the numerator is an even number, being the product of an even and an odd number, therefore, is divisible by 2. So, therefore, in other words, p of n is in fact an integer. Okay. So, observe here is a polynomial which has the property that we wanted, that whenever you substitute an integer for x, then what you get as an answer is again an integer, but the coefficients themselves are not integers, the coefficients are half and half, right. In spite of that, it turns out that this gives you integer answers. Okay. So, it is somewhat mysterious at this point, but so I am going to defer this for later. What I would like you to do in the meantime, we will come back to this in a few modules from now in a somewhat different context, but for now I would like you to think a little bit about this and see what best you can do, or for a start try and construct more such polynomials sort of by using the same idea. So, find a few more such polynomials and try and see if you can find out what the general situation needs to be. Okay. So, next time what we will do is to talk about many variable polynomials.